If you were involved with a narcissist, then you likely ended up in a situation in which you were putting up with things you never thought you would. In fact, when you try to recall the events that got you in the situation, you don't even know where to start as you can't recall one particular event that propelled you into chaos. Well, if that's you, welcome to my channel, The Narcissist Revealed, where we discuss narcissism and how it affects our relationships. Understanding and interpreting their tendencies can help you avoid the pitfalls of dealing with these types of relationships. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for more videos like this. Also, check out the description box for my latest recommendations and training on getting over a relationship with a narcissist. And now, let's get straight to the video. First off, let me start off by saying you're not crazy. Narcissists use very specific tactics to subtly groom you to accept their toxic behavior. Unfortunately, when dealing with a narcissist, you don't realize all the hell you're going through while it's happening. In fact, you typically won't realize everything you've gone through until the relationship is over or in the process of coming to an end. It's at this time you look back over the relationship and can't quite figure out how you got yourself in a situation where you're suddenly putting up with things you never thought you'd put up with. Situations that were deal breakers in every other relationship you've ever been involved in. Yet somehow, you made exceptions this time. In romantic relationships, narcissists subtly groom you to accept their toxic behavior by slowly pushing your limits little by little until they've pushed you so much you can't even recognize the person you've become. Their tactics are so effective because they don't start off abusive. During the early stages of the relationship, they come across as friendly, loving, kind, and giving. For this to work, they know they'll have to put their best foot forward at the beginning of the relationship because if they showed you who they truly were from the start, you never put up with them. So instead, they present an idolized image of the person they know you want them to be. They'll do this until they have you hooked and invested in the relationship. I'm sure you heard of the term a wolf in sheep's clothing. Their goal is to eventually get you to the point where your tolerance for their bad behavior is so low they can get away with what they want, when they want, without being questioned or challenged. So let's jump right into some tactics the narcissist may have used to subtly groom you to accept their toxic behavior. One of the first tactics the narcissist used to groom you was the love bomb. The love bomb sets the stage and lays the foundation for the future of the relationship. The more time they invest in ensuring that you're devoted to the relationship, the easier it is for them to take advantage of you in the future. The reason the love bomb works so well is because they become exactly the person you want them to be, the partner of your dreams. They spoil you with affection, gifts, attention, admiration, and fantasies of what a future the two of you could have together. You likely didn't realize it at the time, but the love bomb was designed to lock you in so that you're scared of losing them and keep you holding out and hoping that the person you met at the beginning of the relationship returns. When times are bad, reflected on the person you met at the beginning of the relationship is what will keep you stuck. It gives you hope that if you're better in some way, or if they made some small changes on their end, they can once again become the person you met in the beginning. When times are bad, you're preoccupied with the potential of the relationship instead of what's actually happening in the relationship. This blind faith that the relationship will get better is what allows them to get whatever it is they need out of the relationship by having access to you. During the love bombing stage, narcissists are very charming, especially in the beginning. They'll use this charm to get you to open up and share with them the things that make you happy, sad, angry, anxious, excited, and indifferent. Once they find out what's important to you and learn your shortcomings, they'll later use this knowledge against you to control your mood, win your affection, and control the tempo of the relationship. Another powerful tactic the narcissists use to groom you to accept their toxic behavior is ignoring, violating, or disrespecting your boundaries. Boundaries are rules you've created for yourself that let people know who you'll communicate with and how you'll allow them to interact with you if they expect to be a part of your life. They establish what you will and will not put up with. And boundaries are not selfish or mean, but they're necessary to keep you safe, protect your energy, and keep the bad people out. Narcissists typically stay away from people with high, stable boundaries because they know that the boundaries these people have set for themselves are so high, they won't put up with anything that goes against them. And for this reason, narcissists hate boundaries. In fact, they don't believe boundaries apply to them. They feel entitled to do what they want when they want and could care less how their actions impact others or how they make them feel. To get you to accept their toxic behaviors, narcissists know they have to lower your boundaries. They do this by lowering your emotional, physical, material, and mental boundaries, by pushing your limits little by little until the boundary no longer exists. They may lower your emotional boundaries by subjecting you to their silent treatments when you vow to never put up with someone who lacked the ability to communicate relationship differences effectively. Before you know it, silent treatments are happening more frequently and lasting longer. Instead of focusing on the boundary that you established for how you'll communicate and be communicated with in a relationship, you're now just relieved when the silent treatments are over and they're communicating with you again. They may lower your physical boundaries by monopolizing all of your time and making you feel guilty when you need time to yourself. Instead of sticking with your boundary, you give in because you want to show them that spending time with them is important to you. Over time, you realize you never seem to have time for yourself anymore. Instead, your day always seems to be consumed with the needs of the narcissist. They may lower your material boundaries by making you feel guilty when you set rules around your personal possessions. For instance, you may say, "You can't drive my car because you're not on my insurance." They'll pressure you by saying, "I'll be careful, I'm not going to get into an accident, you worry too much." You allow them to break that boundary just once, and they'll continue to pressure you for future uses to the point that permission to drive is no longer a topic of discussion. They just use it whenever they need. Another boundary broken. They violate your mental boundaries by becoming angry when you have a difference of opinion or when you don't agree with the way they view certain subjects or people. This is because narcissists see people, especially people they're romantically involved with and their children, as extensions of themselves. Because of this, they expect you to see things the same way they see them. Over time, you found yourself agreeing with them just to keep the peace. Now, everyone who violates or disregards your boundaries is not a narcissist. Most of the time, people aren't trying to violate your boundaries. They just aren't aware of what your boundaries are, and this may be because we weren't clear with ourselves or others about our wants and needs. However, with the narcissist, you'll find that even after expressing your concern about how they're violating your limits, their behavior won't change. They'll continue to push the limits on what you find unacceptable until they get their way. The last tactic we'll discuss, which was used to groom you to accept their toxic behavior, is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a manipulation tactic the narcissist uses to make you question your own sanity and doubt your ability to make sound decisions. If they can get you to doubt your own judgment, they can control you as they please. During your relationship with the narcissist, you certainly experienced some red flags and addressed them along the way. When you did, the narcissist denied that it was happening, told you were imagining things, explained that events didn't occur as you experienced them, or told you were just too sensitive. This is why gaslighting works so well. It makes you feel like you're going insane, like you can't trust your own memory of how events played out. Over time, you stopped addressing the issues that concerned you because you didn't want to look crazy. This allows the narcissist to further push your limits and have their way. Unfortunately, the tactics discussed are not the only tactics at play when a narcissist is grooming you to accept their toxic behavior. They'll ultimately use whichever manipulation tactic works best for what they're trying to accomplish. All of these methods are powerful alone, but when combined, they are capable of making you defenseless in detecting what's happening while you're in the relationship with the narcissist. They'll slide just enough under the radar that you won't realize what's happening until the relationship is over. And how could you? As you can see, it starts from the moment they met you with the love bomb. Then they moved on to slowly and methodically pushing your boundaries until they no longer existed. And as if that wasn't enough, once you started questioning their behavior, they gaslighted you into believing that you were just imagining things. Anyone would have a hard time warding off this type of manipulation. Now that you understand some of the ways the narcissist may have been able to groom you to accept their toxic behavior, be on the lookout for these tactics in other relationships, but most importantly, continue to move forward and continue to educate yourself about narcissism. Becoming familiar with these tactics and relationships will not only help you heal, but will help you see the warning signs in other toxic relationships moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and check out some of the other videos above related to this topic. And now to the next video.